Bongekile Emakhaya, welcome to Journey Unfolding with Millicent, a show where we talk all things lifestyle, singleness, and Christianity. Wow, guys, today it is just another day, a chilly Saturday morning. You know, it's like winter is coming back again and we are in autumn. But anyway, today I am sitting with my beautiful lady here, Bongekile Shabangu, and she will be taking us through the topic of trafficking. You know, in South Africa, at the moment, we have really, guys, a problem with our children that are missing and are being kidnapped. And that on its own, it is a concern. So help me welcome my guest in studio who will be talking to us, engaging with us through this topic. Sis Bongi, who is Bongekile, where are you from, and what is it that you are doing?
Sure, Bongekile, I could go on forever about her. But in a nutshell, Bongekile is a young lady. She's saved. She's a professional social worker registered with the council. I work in the child protection sector. Originally, I'm from a very small town in Balfour, in the outskirts of Mpumalanga. And that is just me in a nutshell.
Tell us just a little bit about this positive energy that you like.
Well, yes, Mrs. Millionaire, positive energy is contagious. Mm-hmm. And I believe that if you walk into a space, people must catch your vibe. And it better be a positive one.
Wow,
if they're going to catch it.
Definitely.
Yes. Well, trafficking, if we were to get technical about it, it is the movement of people without their consent, obviously, for the purposes of either selling them or for putting them on the sex market or for slaughtering them to use their parts for whatever. So it's basically the movement of a person from one place to the other without their consent or illegally so. That is what trafficking is.
Bongekile Emakhaya, as I said, it is a concerning issue. Stats says that every 5 hours there is one child missing. That on its own, it is very alarming and disturbing, because if you check every 5 hours, then how many children are missing in a day? Sis Bongekile, you know, what is it that one can do to like check Uguti they are not being part of this, they are not being human trafficked? Like, what is it that people have to look out for, the dangers of it, and what is it that people have to look out for?
Well, generally with regards to children, children are very gullible. And it is mainly the responsibility of the parent to teach the child how to look out for safety risks. For instance, not talking to strangers. You know, it's funny how in this day and age, you'll be walking at a mall and a random child will just greet you and, you know, will be friendly with you. When we grew up, we were told you don't talk to strangers. You respect adults, but you don't talk to strangers. They're not your friends. Those basics, we need to go back to those basics. You don't talk to strangers. Don't get in a car that you don't know. If a stranger in a car calls you to their car, run away. It doesn't matter if you know them or you think you might know them, run. So parents need to start teaching their children those basics. And then with regards to adults, perhaps we need to make sure that people stop posting their every move on social media, their daily jogs. People need to be careful of the places they go to, the clubs that they decide to party at, should you be a person that parties. It's such things they need to look out for.
And do you think, Uguti, the awareness, is it like, is it available, awareness? Is it there, like, is this thing being made more aware in the community as large?
Yes and no.
Why?
Yes and no, because on social media we have a hashtag Save Our Children, but I'm not really seeing much from our government being done. I'm not seeing awareness campaigns. I'm not seeing posters and flyers. You know, when HIV was a thing, we had billboards all over the country. You know, I remember they had the ABCs of HIV: abstain, be faithful, condomize. And everyone knew it, so everyone was aware of this thing that's going on. But now with this human trafficking thing and child trafficking as well, there's nothing really being done. I'm not seeing enough awareness campaigns from the government side. But on the social media end, I feel they're trying.
There you have it, Sivila Osisbongi, and honestly, truly, yes, there is, you know, there has been an outcry with social media, you know, there is not much that is said about this trafficking. And at the end of the day, guys, it is the lives of people. people's lives matters, so we should really make a noise about it, because at the end of the day, even the future of our country, which is our children, they've been cut short. So what's going to happen to our country in the next 10-20 years? Will we have leaders in this country? Please share your comments and questions. I would gladly love to hear from you on our Facebook page, Journey Unfolding with Millicent. Please make sure that you don't go anywhere. Bongekile Emakhaya, you are still tuned to Journey Unfolding with Millicent. I am your host, and I'm still sitting with my beautiful lady here, Bongekile Shabangu. We are talking trafficking. As we know that inkinga la eMzansi at the moment, and it is alarming. How can women, like parents, be empowered? Ngale ndaba le yokuthi bafundise abantwana babo kahle how to like protect themselves.
Parents need to be very alert. I think that's the first thing. They need to be alert, and they need to be in the know that this is a thing that is happening in the country, and it's everyone's responsibility to take care of themselves and their children. For instance, parents need to make sure that they pick up their children at school at the time they say they're going to pick their children up. Don't leave your child waiting after school alone, wondering when is mommy or daddy coming to get me.
It's true.
Secondly, parents need to be sure that when they're at malls with their children, you don't walk there and your child is in another shop.
It's true.
You need to keep your child by you.
Yes.
Because they snatch them.
It's true. Yeah. Whilst when now ubheke iphone, then
They
you know what,
snatch your
then
child.
umntana
There's a whole video of instances where a trafficker literally takes the child next to the parent.
It's true.
In the shopping complex.
I saw that. Yes.
So you need to be very alert at all times.
I have read as well, Uguti, you know, again, how we can empower parents and each other. It's all about like when parents, let's say maybe you have a vacation or in the malls or anywhere with your children, make sure that they have those bright clothes on.
Yes.
So that you can be able to see your child when
Yes.
they are somewhere, like there's visibility on its own.
Definitely.
Yeah.
That is definitely true. That also adds, because should it happen in the unfortunate event that your child gets trafficked, you immediately know what your child was wearing. Because some parents are so negligent to the extent that they send a child to the shop and they don't know what the child is wearing.
It's true.
Next thing, you're going to file a missing case, and you come to us and we're asking you questions like, what was the last thing your child was wearing? It was grey, it was blue.
There is negligence on its own.
It's also very neglectful of you to not really know what your child is wearing.
Truly. So viewers at home, please let's make sure ukuthi abantwana bethu, we know where they are, what time they left, and let's say maybe you've sent umntana estolo. Make sure that you check the time frame as well as to how long did that child take there, and the visibility, you know, everything that Sis Bongi have just spoke about. It is very important. Let us not be negligent as parents, because these are our children at the end of the day. We love them and we need them in the society. Sis Bongi, now let's take it, you know, on another level now of women.
Yes.
Yeah, I know we are talking about children, but women as well, we are like high risks. It's like, if I can put it that way.
Definitely.
And you find out, Uguti, you know, women, they are trafficked and they got raped, you understand, and all that. So how can we protect ourselves as women? What is it that you think that we can do?
Well, for starters, I'm just going to speak to the average woman. That is your woman that's working your 9 to 5, or your woman that's just sitting at home. Be careful. For everybody, be careful is literally the main thing. To be careful and to be aware. Secondly, do not post everything on social media. Don't post your whereabouts. Don't post your jog route. Don't post. Don't make it obvious for people on social media to know what you're doing every day at what time. Don't be that person who's easily predictable by people outside. And then I'm now going to speak to our ladies who are partiers. If you go out to a party, watch your drink. Watch your drink, because they drug people and then they take them away. Just like that. Secondly, be careful who you're drinking with. You can't just be drinking with random strangers. I mean, if you are going to go out drinking, at least do it with the people that you know, people that you're comfortable with, people that you are going to be safe around.
And I think, again, Sis Bongi, the other important thing is, let's communicate with our families. Yes, you go out, you are an average woman, not old but matured, then you go out obviously and do your things.
Yes.
But just let somebody at home as to, okay, Yazini, I'm going out with Bongekile, we are going into this certain place. Because that is what I've with myself, I'm doing it with my children as well, to say, you know what, it is important, although, you know, sometimes they will just go out without telling you and everything, but I make it a point that, guys, you tell me where you are going and who you are going with, and I do the same as well, you understand?
That's
just
true.
To inform them as to where I am.
And to add to that, Sis Millie, of informing people where you're going, if you are going out with your friends, I feel it's very important that, especially ladies, that we look out for each other. Let us not be the reason that your friend got trafficked because you wanted a free drink, and when this random person was making on her, you were like, I told me go.
Yeah.
I told me be nice.
No, that's very,
you know, because women do that. They give their friends off as prey so that they can get a free drink, or they can drink for free for the night.
Sis Bongi, you just said that we must look out for one another, like be careful and everything. So who do I look out for? Who are those human traffickers?
Sure, Sis Millicent. This is a question we got asked at a training on the TIP Act, which is the Trafficking in Persons Act. You cannot define a trafficker. A trafficker is like a rapist. A trafficker is like a thief. A trafficker is like a criminal. You cannot see them by looking at them that this person is a trafficker.
So how do I?
However, you need to look out for behavior and actions that are concerning.
Okay.
Also trust your gut. For instance, it could be a lady that is constantly following you around in the mall. Every aisle you go into, she's going into. Unfortunately, that's the world we live in, where you have to even be careful of people in a supermarket.
Yeah.
If you feel uncomfortable, then
There
something must be up.
So you want to tell me now that even ladies can be traffickers?
Yes, they can.
Okay.
And yes, they are.
Okay.
In some instances, women are paid because, you know, as women, we are more trusting of our fellow female counterparts.
Exactly.
So women are paid to lure you, offer you a job, or maybe be nice to you, advertise a product. And the other thing that I want people to really be aware of, this thing of buying things off of Facebook. I know we buy our weaves online, and sometimes someone advertises on Marketplace and they're selling a certain thing. Meet me at a certain spot, we're going to exchange.
Yeah.
Be careful of that. Even if it's a woman, just be careful. Take someone with you. Make sure it's in a public space. Because next thing you know, you are trafficked and you were just there to get your 20 inches of, you know, Brazilian.
Yes. No, you really said an important one, because honestly, at the moment, we are looking at Facebook, guys, to get those cheaper deals and everything, only to find out, Guti Vela, it is a trap for you.
Yes.
So, Babugeli Emakaya, please, let's make sure that, you know, we look out for everything. And as Sis Bongi has just said, your guts, listen to it and take someone with you when you go somewhere. Don't go alone. We will be right back after the break, and we will be touching base on the precautionary measures that you can take or you can use should you find yourself in that situation where you are trafficked. You are still tuned to Journey Unfolding with Millicent. Sis Bongi,
Yes.
what are those precautionary measures that one can take should we find ourselves being trafficked? Okay.
For adults, you can download, there's apps that you can download that share your live location, that share audios to specific contacts that you've chosen on your cell phone. Okay. There's a variety of them. And with this current outbreak of human trafficking all over the world, actually, it's not just the South African thing. Yeah. Many developers have developed such apps. There's apps such as SOS, and the other thing that one can do is share your live location on your WhatsApp with specific contacts. For instance, you find yourself in a situation where you don't feel very comfortable. Just share your live location with the particular person. It could be your mother, could be your sister, could be your best friend. Share your live location. This is in case your phone gets shut off and taken away from you. The people can be able to say, but this is the very, very last place this person was when I last spoke to them.
Wow. That's
and with regards to children, I normally tell this to my clients that they should get safety bracelets for their children.
Okay.
It can be a nice, cute bracelet for a girl, or it could be those rubber bracelets with your cell phone number and your address.
Okay.
Remember, if your child is 3 years old, should the police find your child will not be able to say, my mommy is this person. This is my mommy's number. This is our address. Okay. So the safety bracelet will have your number, and then whoever finds your child will be able to contact you.
And where do we find the safety bracelets?
Well, you can make your own. You can get them made from companies that make the rubber bracelets.
Yes.
You can also make your own. There's beads that have numbers and letters on them. You just put it together. You create a nice artsy crafty project with your son or your daughter, and they know that they have to wear it on their wrist every time they go out with you.
So, what are the hotspots? Is the kidnapping? What does one have to look for? Auntie Sayat, like when we drive on the road, there is this big sign whereby they will tell you this is a high accident zone. You understand?
Yeah.
But then with trafficking, we don't have that. So how do you spot that as a person?
Sure. Unfortunately, there's no signs that say that this is a high trafficking area. And in all honesty, people can get trafficked anyway.
Okay.
In a shopping complex, in a parking lot, in a mall, anyway. But what I can say is there are areas that are more riskier than others.
Okay.
For instance, your clubs. For instance, your big cities. When you're in a big city and there's a lot of people and there's a lot of commotion and this one is not really minding what the other one is doing, then you might be at a higher risk of getting trafficked.
There are those remote places that are very quiet, you understand? I think those as well, they are one of those high risk. They can be.
Yes, definitely they can be. Because remember, traffickers work in syndicates. They work in syndicates, they work in groups. Sometimes they move from one area to the next. If they were working here, then they move to the next area, depending on what they want, who they want, for what purpose they want the person.
What do one do when you find out, okay, here there is this person that I know that was human trafficked? What is it that I have to do?
Well, the very first thing, you need to report it to the police.
Okay.
Like, immediately. You need to go to the police and file a missing persons case.
Okay.
It's quite a lengthy process. I've had to done it myself.
Wow.
But you have to do it. Make sure that when you go to the police station, you at least have a picture of the person. Make sure that you know at least what they were wearing the last time that you saw them or they were seen. Make sure that you can give a very direct description of them. Their eye color, their hairstyle at the moment. All of that stuff will really come in handy for the police.
Okay. Yeah, but I've read as well, now it doesn't take 24 hours anymore to file for a missing person. You have immediately, you see, or you find out Lomtana or whoever it is has been gone for long, immediately file a missing case. Do you think the government is it doing enough really like to persecute these perpetrators or maybe in protecting a community?
People have gone out on social media and they are crying out, save our children. And I think it's because the government is trying, but there's not really enough that's being done. I feel like this issue is not being taken as serious as it actually is.
What is Tip Act and how does one get it like?
It is a relatively new act, so it covers on what is trafficking in persons, and then the steps that should be followed in an instance where a person is trafficked. And the TIP act also touches base on things such as how justice is to be served in such instances.
Okay, there we had it, Bongekile Emakhaya. You know, unfortunately, we had to come to the end of our show. A very informative show, and I believe Uguti, we have learned so much today from our guest, Sis Bongi. And before we close though, Sis Bongi, what advice can you give to our viewers Ekaya in regards to this topic that we're talking about today?
What I can say, like I have said already a million times, is that be careful, be vigilant, be alert. Don't just walk around like nothing is happening in this world. We have traffickers all over. They don't wear a badge that says, "Hi, I'm a trafficker." So you need to be very vigilant and careful. Always tell people where you're going, who you're with, and be safe. Thank you.